Centennial to me means home.
Supportive.
High end. I think it's high end.
Centennial means to me it's a community that is growing.
One word, high prices.
Work.
I've lived here for the past 15 years or so, and I love it here. This is my favorite area. I think anything that you need is right here. It's beautiful, it's clean, it feels safe, the people are friendly.
So through the pandemic, obviously that was miserable for everyone, but definitely a lot of business owners, and many businesses I know completely went out of business during that time. But my community really came together. I had clients who were like, how are you doing? Do you want us to pay for packages ahead? Actually, the city of Centennial was the only government funding I received.
I believe that we moved to Centennial in 2010 because we wanted to have a place that actively worked to beautify and make sure that this was a community that would grow as our family grew.
Centennial is such a, I wouldn't say a rich place, but it's really nice, and I just love being here, and I meet a lot of people here, and I just like Centennial a lot better than pretty much anywhere else. It means a lot to me, yeah.
I really think my only non-positive experience has really been the rising prices and the cost of living and the affordability of housing in the last, say, 15 years. That is really starting to hurt.
Don't live here because of the high prices. Very hard to find affordability that I guess matches with the rest of the world. It's just way too high to live here.
Well, I've moved 9 times since moving to Denver area. I actually very first moved to Centennial, so I've always been around this area. Centennial's always been my hub. However, it is very unaffordable for many.
Finding an apartment these days is so hard because it's like you schedule to go like do a tour because you have to do tours before that, but then right before you go to their tour they're like, oh, it's gone. So it's been really hard trying to get out of my parents' house.
And as like an adult woman who owns a business and is doing progressive things with my life, to only be able to afford like a bedroom in someone's basement is a problem, right?
The housing here, the amount of money that I make wouldn't let me at all be able to live here, especially with the price of the housing and the prices that are going up nowadays. And the reason why I moved in with my cousin is because instead of spending about $800 more, I could spend $700 and have a whole apartment to myself.
We are moving this August to a lovely condo right up the street from here. And though the cost was less than what it would have been, we were given a deal. It's still a lot of money. So, if you had told me even 5 years ago what I would be paying now, I would have been astonished. 15 years ago, for instance, I was paying less than $600 a month for rent. And now we're close to $2,000. Over the past 15 years, while my income has possibly doubled, the cost of living here for me has more than tripled. I know they say something like the rent or mortgage you're paying, I think it should be somewhere around a third of your income. Right now it's at least half. And that doesn't leave much room to do things that I need to for my family, like save for our future.
An apartment or flat type structure where you can own these structures eventually, or you're renting with some type of rental cap. The apartment or flat structure that they have in Europe, a lot of times people, especially in this country, scoff at apartments because of the thin walls, but there's a way to be able to build some type of structures that give some type of dignified living and that are high density areas that offer amenities. There's a lot of things that we can do if we go up instead of urban sprawl and go out, which requires more roads, more traffic, more situations with piping, electronics, where you got to lay fiber. Look at Paris, look at Madrid. and I would debate anybody about how those people's lifestyles and their community is flourishing in those type of cities where they live in high density areas. So the idea that everybody in a community needs to have their own pocket of individuality by having a single family structure that doesn't share walls, and I can have my space and my land, those are not conducive for the challenging environment that we're going through.
A tiny house? I feel like tiny houses are more, they may be tiny, but they're better in a which of way to say it's cheaper to live in a tiny house than it would be to live in a apartment, I would say. But if the rent wasn't so expensive, an apartment or a townhouse would be good too, or a condo or something like that. But I like tiny houses.
I think the best would be more duplexes or little condos, just because it's going to make it where people can more share.
What would I honestly, I mean, I would love to live in a house, you know, with a yard or something like that. And I don't know, maybe a duplex does offer that sort of thing, but I think what you'll find is that because of the number of people in need of housing, probably apartments. I think to save space, they probably need to go above 2 stories.
People are rude and very inconsiderate. I would like it quiet when I want it quiet, and right now the way that they're doing all these cookie cutter apartments and townhouses, you don't even have space. We all want our own privacy.
To have a townhome with a yard would be awesome, and just to have that space and to actually have something where I feel like I want to hang stuff up on the walls. As like I said, I'm moving again in about few weeks, like 3 weeks, and that'll be my 10th move since living in the Denver area in about 6 years. So definitely less than ideal. And so to have somewhere that feels homey and is somewhere I could stay for a while would be ideal.
In the future, I would really like to see enough affordable housing for families like mine. I'm a single mother of 2, and that can be a pretty big struggle.
I wish that they would put a cap on just raising rent on people.
In the future, I would like to see that continue to have more diversity here, have more cultural events, and just get to see the community grow in a variety of different ways.
Say it would be cheaper. Yeah, it's very nice over here. It's very beautiful. There's a lot to do over here. I just wish it would be cheaper to be over here.
I would like to see that the powers that be, the mayor, city council, work with high density areas.
What I would like to see would be more maybe income driven affordable housing. I know that there aren't a whole lot of places like that here, and those that there are have huge waiting lists to get into. I'd like to see more affordable housing that is somewhat, I don't know if covenant controlled is the word I'm looking for, but something that would make sure that it was a safe place for families.